right, everyone get ready because we are going deep, deep into elections and campaigns today.
Yeah.
Like really the nuts and bolts of how democracy works.
Uh-huh.
And we've got these slides called Elections and Campaigns 101. And honestly, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
It is, yeah. You think you know elections, but there's so many layers.
Oh, yeah.
It's complicated.
So let's get right into it.
Where?
So the slides start by talking about the different types of elections.
Okay.
Like we always hear about elections, but
Mm-hmm.
how often do we think about like, wait, which election are we talking about?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like saying, oh, we're going to a sporting event. Which one? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Playoffs, championship,
Yeah.
regular season.
Yeah.
So like with elections, we've got primaries, we've got general elections, and we've got special elections.
Okay, so break it down for me.
Okay.
What's the difference between a primary and a general? I know I should probably know this.
Yeah. It's easy to get them mixed up.
Wow.
So primaries are like the first round.
Okay.
It's each party holds an election to pick who their candidate's going to be
Mhm.
for the general election. So it's like an internal competition.
Okay.
Then in the general election, those candidates face off.
Right. That's when we see the debates and all that.
That's when it gets real.
Okay. And so what are special elections?
Those are interesting.
Are those like a wild card or something?
Kind of,
yeah.
yeah. They're held to fill vacancies that come up,
Yeah.
outside the regular election cycle, like if a senator resigns or
Oh, right.
something happens
I see.
unexpected.
Yeah.
So a special election is held to fill that particular seat.
Okay, but why does it matter if we understand these different types? Does it actually change anything for voters?
Oh, it does, yeah.
Really?
Different types have different rules,
Mm.
and that can impact things like how many people vote,
Okay.
voter turnout.
Right.
Like turnout is usually lower in primaries. But those elections pick who even makes it to the general.
Right.
So your vote in a primary can be super important.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to see the whole picture here.
Uh-huh.
But let's move on to those mysterious groups that are always behind the candidates. Political parties.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's their deal besides having a cool logo?
They're a lot more than a brand.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you that much. They're essential to the whole process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how so? Give me the inside scoop.
Well, so they nominate the candidates
Okay.
who will run in the first place,
Right.
and then they come up with these platforms which lay out where they stand on issues.
Like a cheat sheet for voters.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what they're all about.
Right.
And they're also really important when it comes to actually getting people to the polls.
Okay.
They organize rallies, they make calls, they get their supporters fired up.
So they're like a hype team for their candidates.
Pretty much.
So knowing a candidate's party can help voters make better choices.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Because it helps them understand their views.
Exactly.
It's a shortcut.
Okay. Not perfect, but it helps.
Right. But speaking of complicated,
Yeah.
campaign finance.
Oh.
This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
We all know money talks in politics,
For sure.
but how much and where does it come from?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
A hot topic.
Fill the tea.
All right. So campaign finance is basically all the money raised
Okay.
to promote candidates and parties or even specific policies.
So it's not just rich people writing checks?
No, it's not that simple.
Okay.
I mean, you've got your individual donations, but then there's PAIFs, political action committees,
Okay.
and then there's super PAICs.
Wait, super PAICs? What are those?
They're a whole other thing.
Okay.
They can raise unlimited money.
Unlimited.
Yeah, from corporations, unions, big donors.
Mm.
And this all goes back to that Supreme Court ruling, Citizens United.
Okay, I've heard of that,
Yeah.
but I'm not really sure what it was. Right. Well, it basically said that corporations and unions
Yeah.
have the same free speech rights as people,
Hmm.
and that includes spending money on campaigns.
Oh, wow.
So that really changed the game.
Really?
Yeah, opened the door for these super PAIDs
Interesting.
to have a lot of influence.
Okay, so for us regular voters, what does this mean?
Well, it means you got to be aware of where the money's coming from.
Right.
Who's paying for those ads?
Like,
Well-
is the candidate actually supporting that, or are they just saying what their donors want?
That's the question, right? You got to be a little skeptical.
Yeah.
Look deeper, ask the tough questions.
Okay, so we've got the candidates, we've got the parties, and we've got all this money influencing things.
Right.
But what about the actual message?
Yeah.
How do campaigns actually win people over?
Ah, the art of the campaign.
Right.
It's about telling a story that resonates with voters,
Okay.
connecting with them on an emotional level.
So it's not just about listing policies.
No, not at all.
It's got to be more than that.
It's about tapping into what people care about,
Right.
their hopes, their fears, their dreams.
So have you ever voted for someone whose policies you didn't totally get, but whose message really got to you?
It happens, right?
Okay, yeah.
It's a powerful thing.
So crafting a winning message, that's a tough job.
It is. It's a whole process.
I bet.
You have to know your audience,
Right.
what they care about,
Right.
and how to reach them.
It's a lot of work.
It is, but that's what makes elections so fascinating.
Right?
It's a complex game.
This is already blowing my mind.
It's just the beginning.
I can't wait to dive deeper into the media's role in all of this and how campaigns actually get those votes.
Yeah, that's the next level.
We'll be right back after a quick break.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back.
Oh, we're back and ready for more.
We've covered a lot of ground,
I know we have.
haven't we?
We've got the different types of elections. We
Mhm.
talked about political parties.
Right, yeah.
That whole campaign finance thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's a big one.
It really is.
It's complicated.
But it's so important to understand.
Yeah, definitely.
So where do we go from here?
Well, now we know the players and the rules.
Okay.
We got to talk about something that can really sway things.
Okay.
The media.
Ooh, the media. Yeah, this is where it gets juicy.
It's a big one.
We're just bombarded with messages everywhere.
I know, right?
TV, social media, like ads that follow you around online.
That's a lot.
How do we even know what to believe?
You gotta be careful.
Yeah,
It's more important than ever
I think so.
to be a critical consumer
Okay.
of media, especially during elections.
Because the media really shapes how we see things.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Candidates, the issues, everything.
It has a huge impact.
But how much of it is actually unbiased and accurate?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
It feels like everyone has an agenda these days.
It can feel that way.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be media literate.
Okay, what does that even mean?
Well, it means you got to analyze the information you see.
Okay.
Think about it, you know?
Give us the tools. Help us navigate this maze.
All right, so first, you got to think about the source.
Okay, the source.
Is it a real news organization?
Okay,
One that's known for checking facts, being balanced,
right. Not just some random blog.
or some website pushing a specific agenda?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
What about those social media posts that everyone shares
Oh, yeah.
without even checking if they're true?
Yeah, social media is tough.
Talk about
It
misinformation.
can be a real problem.
Yeah,
It's so easy for things to go viral.
right, whether they're true or not.
Exactly, so you got to be careful.
So how do we protect ourselves from being manipulated?
It goes back to those critical thinking skills.
Okay,
Look for evidence.
evidence.
Be wary of headlines that are super dramatic or use strong language.
Okay, so just stay calm.
And fact check.
Fact check, yeah.
There are so many resources out there
I know, right?
to help you figure out what's true.
It's like we have to be detectives or something.
Kind of, yeah.
We have to figure out the truth.
Exactly. And remember, these media outlets are businesses.
Oh, right.
They want your attention.
Yeah.
Sometimes they go for sensationalized stories
To get more clicks.
to get you to watch.
So even those funny memes we see,
Mhm.
they can have a hidden agenda.
They can. They can be very persuasive.
Wow.
You know, a picture, a slogan, it can convey a lot
It really can.
without
Wow.
any real context.
Okay, this is all starting to feel overwhelming.
You know, it's a lot, right?
Like, how do we keep up?
You don't have to consume everything.
Okay, that's good to know.
You got to be selective.
Right.
Focus on those reliable sources. Get your news from different places,
I like that.
different perspectives.
Diversifying your media diet.
Exactly.
It's like eating your vegetables for your brain.
It is. It helps you stay informed.
Okay, so be selective, diversify, fact check.
And remember, you have the power to choose how you engage.
Oh, right. I can choose to unplug sometimes.
Absolutely. You don't have to be plugged in all the time.
That's good advice.
Take a break, clear your head.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like drinking from a fire hose.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance.
Balance?
Staying informed, but not getting overwhelmed.
Okay, so stay informed, be critical, but take care of ourselves.
Exactly. It's all connected.
This has been so eye-opening.
I'm glad.
Seeing how everything fits together.
Yeah.
Types of elections, the parties, the money, the media.
It's a complex system,
It really is.
but it's fascinating.
It is, and it's important.
So important.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork,
Huh?
but how do campaigns actually use all this to win?
That's the million-dollar question.
I know, let's talk strategy.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so we're back. And
Back from
ready to like finish this journey.
the final stretch.
We've decoded those election types.
We have.
We've explored the parties,
Right.
uncovered campaign finance,
All the secrets.
and navigated that crazy media landscape.
It's a lot. I know.
Like we've gone through some democracy boot camp.
You could say that.
But let's get to the point. How do campaigns actually win those votes?
The big question.
Is it just about having the most charismatic candidate
Well,
or the catchiest slogans?
those things help.
Right.
But winning a campaign, it's more like a puzzle.
Okay.
You got to understand the voters,
Right.
the issues they care about,
Mhm.
and the best ways to reach them, persuade them.
So it's not just about good ideas.
It's about getting those ideas out there,
Right.
having a strategy.
Okay, I'm picturing like a war room
Yeah,
with maps and charts,
pretty much.
a team of strategists
You get
plotting their next move.
It's a lot of planning.
Okay, so let's start with the message.
Right.
How do they come up with those sound bites and slogans that we remember forever?
Remember, we talked about narratives.
Yeah.
It all starts there.
Okay.
The winning message has to connect with voters
So
on an
right.
emotional level,
Right.
not just logic and policy points.
It's got to be deeper than that.
It's about what people really care about.
So understanding what makes people tick,
Exactly.
what keeps them up at night.
What are their hopes?
Yeah.
Their fears?
Their dreams.
Campaigns do a ton of research to figure that out.
I bet.
Like what issues are important to voters,
Okay.
demographics, polls, even social media trends.
So they really are trying to get inside our heads,
In a way, yeah.
and then they tailor the message based on that. So
Exactly.
the same message won't work for everyone.
Nope, you got to segment the voters.
So,
Different messages for different groups.
so like a message about jobs might work for blue-collar workers,
Right.
but a message about education might work better for parents.
That's the idea.
Okay, so tailor the message to the audience,
Uh-huh.
and then they have to figure out how to get it out there.
Right.
TV, radio, social media.
All the channels.
It seems like digital is everything these days.
It's huge, especially for younger voters.
Right.
But traditional media still matters.
Okay, so it's a mix.
Finding that right balance.
But even with the perfect message
Mm-hmm.
and the perfect channels,
Yeah,
you still need people to actually vote.
the most important part.
And that seems like a whole other challenge.
It is getting people to the polls.
Okay, so how do they do that?
Voter targeting and mobilization.
Sounds like a spy movie.
A little bit.
Secret databases and algorithms.
Data is a big part of it.
Okay.
They use all sorts of tools
Right?
to figure out who's likely to vote
So they know who's already on their side.
and who they need to convince.
Wow.
They use that data to personalize their outreach.
So targeted mail, phone calls, even knocking on doors.
It's all part of the game.
That's incredible how much tech goes into all this.
It's amazing.
But what about the human side of things?
That's still crucial.
Okay.
People still want that personal connection. Absolutely. Volunteers are so important.
I can imagine.
They're the heart of any campaign.
Right.
Making calls, knocking on doors, spreading the word, building relationships with voters.
So it's high tech and high touch,
You got it.
data and heart.
The best campaigns use both.
Wow. This deep dive has been incredible.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
We've learned so much
It's been a journey.
from the basics of democracy.
The strategies that decide elections.
It's amazing how it all fits together.
It's a complex system,
But now we understand it better.
and that's important.
And that understanding gives us the power to participate.
Exactly.
So as we go back out into the world,
Mm-hmm.
remember to think critically about the information we see.
Question everything
And most importantly, make our voices heard.
by voting.
Well said. And if you ever want to dive deeper into any topic,
You know where to find us.
we'll be here.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.